Hello everyone, my name is Deltlead and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, Faster Than Light. So, the end of our last stream, we had finished upgrading our ship, the KSP Hermes II now. It's the second iteration of the design. And we kicked it out on its mission to reach the Jool system. So it is, where is it? It's somewhere. Is it in flight? Why can't I find it? It's somewhere out here. Where is it? Hold on. Where'd it go? Where's my ship? It was right here, I swear. Hold on. Let's clear out this clutter. Get rid of the relays. That's the original. That's Alpha Station. Is it just not showing up? Let me look for it over here. There it is. Okay. I found it. All right, so it's outward bound, still in the Kerbal system. I was having a mild moment of panic right there. But we found it. It's right here. So this ship is crewed by, what, 6 Kerbals now? 5 Kerbals? 4 scientists? No, 6 Kerbals. 4 scientists, an engineer, 2 engineers, 1 engineer. How many Kerbals do I have on board this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6, 7. We have 7 Kerbals on board. 4 scientists, 2 engineers, and a pilot. Because we have Bill, and then do we have Matt Dorf? No, we have 2 pilots. We have Kathdos, Bill, and Jebediah. Okay, there we go. We've got our crew assignments figured out. So this is it. This is, excuse me, this is the Hermes Mark II with its upgraded gas core open cycle engine. This thing does not generate a lot of thrust, only about 90 kilonewtons, 83.99 kilonewtons. This number varies based on core temperature. It will overheat and its efficiency and thrust drops as it gets too hot. Let's see who's watching the stream. We got Achilles 287. Welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? So this is the main power plant of the ship. It's very, very, very efficient, though. So low thrust, very high efficiency. This whole craft only has a thrust-to-weight ratio of about 0.1, nominally 0.07 on average. With it, it's got these 4 large titanium radiators. And then we have 6 smaller radiators up here at the front that are going to help keep the waste heat from building up. The center section is the fuel, so we have these 2 spherical tanks, and then we have 7 of these cylindrical tanks, all carrying liquid hydrogen. We've got multiple monopropellant tanks scattered throughout the ship, and then we have the crew or mission section up here at the front. So this section of the vehicle has our 2 orbital labs, where our scientists are working on processing all the data. We have the hitchhiker storage container up here, which holds additional supplies for the ship. Right now, we just have some fuel and some struts. But if we were to do a landing mission, we would have like deployable science or anything else we want to store up here. And then we have the Mark PP2, or what is this? PPD TAC 12, the cupola module. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But that's the pilot station where Jebediah is. So you can see Jebediah sitting right there. He's flying the ship. We have our standby pilot Kathdos Kerman in here, and Bill. And then in the science labs, we have our scientists. You can see them through the windows in there. Oh, there we go. You can see the scientists in the windows in there. And they're doing all the research, getting us that sweet, sweet scientific data to advance our program. So that is the ship. It is currently on its way to Jool, out of the Kerbal system. We'll go ahead and give it a little time warp here. It's got a little ways to go, though, so we're going to take About a year and 207 days, we're going to do a maneuver at the ascending node. And this maneuver will put us in a much closer encounter with Jool. So if we focus view here, we're going to actually encounter Bop on our way in. And as we swing by Bop here, the plan is to drop off one of these probes that's going to go land on the surface of the planet and do science on the surface of the planet as the ship carries on into the inner Jool system down here. That's at least the plan, but we'll go ahead and time warp here. We got a little ways to go. I'm just going to go ahead and set auto time warp to our burn mode. This correction burn, right now this is our intercept, and this correction burn, only 68 meters per second, but it's going to bring us from a very high intercept up here to a much lower intercept and actually get us a encounter with Bop. We were very, very lucky to get this encounter. The timing is just perfect. And so we'll swing by Bop here. I think our planned periapsis 153 meters. So we'll bring that in a little bit and get nice and close. And then we'll continue from Bop, get down to this green orbit right here. This is our target orbit we need to be in. And then once we're there, because we do have a contract to get into a stationary orbit around Jool. So that blue target right there, we're going to get into orbit above that target. That'll complete this contract. And then we have a contract to get science data from space around Jool. That'll complete that contract. And once we've done those two contracts, we are free pretty much to explore the rest of the system. You love my videos. Well, I appreciate that, Achilles. Thank you. And I do try to like comments as I see them come in. I don't like every single comment just because I don't always see them. But when I do see them, I generally try to like and reply to your comments. So I appreciate that. So that's kind of the overview of the mission. We'll once we do our Bop encounter, we'll look at the other planets. I think as a general rule, we'll go out, start in, and work our way out. So we'll hit Lathe, and then Val, and then Tylo. And then from Tylo, we'll move out to Pole. And Pole will be the last moon we try to encounter. You're the only guy watching the stream right now? That doesn't surprise me. No, there's one other person watching the stream right now. It says I have 2 viewers. I generally don't have a ton of people who view the live streams. And that's okay. I don't do it to try and have a huge viewer count. I just do it because I enjoy it. So let's look over here at our station. We currently have a moderate signal, 53% signal strength. Back to the Drew Space Center. This thing should have the signal range to reach out all the way to Jool. If not, it's okay, because we can still collect all the scientific data. We just won't be able to process all of it until we get back in comms. But this thing has the the Communitron 8888, which absolutely should reach Kerbal. Even at its most extreme ranges, we should still be in continuous communications with Kerbal. This is like the major mission that's going on right now. This is really the only mission I'm doing right now. I deserve 10 million. I don't know about 10 million, but I do appreciate that. YouTube is just a hobby I do for fun. I do not have the time or the dedication to really take it beyond that right now. Let's see. We are 40 days from maneuver and closing. It's going to take a little bit of time. We've been going at this now for 1 year and 200 days. At full time warp. This is a long journey, which is why I tried to make the crew section a little larger. I figured that the Kerbals would enjoy a little bit more free space. Now we'll see. I've got the ship turning towards its maneuver node right here. The total burn will be 1 minute and 33 seconds long. That's because this engine, while it's super efficient, again, it's very, very low thrust. So we're not going to see a huge change in velocity. Even though the engine itself weighs 20 tons, it's a massive engine. It's a big, big, big engine. It's just not very strong. But it absolutely does great. So for context, we're burning liquid hydrogen as our fuel. And after burning to get away from Kerbin, we started with 600,000 units of liquid hydrogen, and the full escape burn brought us from 600,000 to 489, almost 490,000. So it took us 110,000 units of liquid hydrogen to leave Kerbin, and that's probably going to be our most expensive burn, with the exception of maybe the Jool escape burn back to Kerbin. And that's only, it's a little over 1/6 of our total fuel. So we will have more than enough fuel to go to Tylo, or go to Jool, investigate all the planets, and then come back. And we're bringing a lot of hardware here. You know, this is not a small spacecraft. All right, we're about 1 hour, and... or we're actually past burn now. We're past burn by an hour. That's okay. That's not going to affect us too much. So we'll go ahead and throttle up. And you can see the giant plume of nuclear radioactive exhaust coming from the back of this engine. Very, very big. You suggest I play Spaceflight Simulator and Juno New Origins. I have on the channel, and I will continue to play J&O on the channel. That was the game that most of my channel's content is on, and will probably continue to be most of my content. However, I do want to diversify and play some more different games. I've done a little Spaceflight Simulator. Spaceflight Simulator isn't as good as KSP or Juno. It's just not as good. I mean, that's it. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, and if you just want a free mobile app that you can play, SFS is fine. No knock on people who enjoy it. It's fine. I enjoyed it a little bit, but why play Spaceflight Simulator when I can play a better version of the same genre of game? J&O is easily better than Spaceflight Simulator. You're a PC player? Yeah. I like Kerbal Space Program and Juno for different reasons. Certainly, Juno is a more stable game, and it doesn't crash and bug my computer out as much. But Kerbal Space Program is probably a little bit more fun. Just from a game aspect, there's more unique things you can do. And there is a certain charm to it with the Kerbals, little green guys. I like the Kerbals. But it is dated, and it does show its age quite a bit nowadays. All right, we're getting close. I'm going to throttle way down here. Way down. Cut the engine early. Now, the problem with this design is that its rockets are a little tricky to use. So I'm actually going to use RCS. Okay, we're going to call that good. Turn off RCS, turn everything off. There we go. So we've got our encounter with Bop. Let's see where that gets us. 596 kilometers. Let's see if I can adjust it with my main engines just a little bit. So we're actually going to pass under Bop. Okay. See if we can make another maneuver node. I want to get this a little closer. Let's make a maneuver node right before we enter the Jool system. Let's zoom back in on Bop. And since we're coming under, I'm going to burn... Ooh, too far. Oh, man. That's very sensitive. Okay. Let's zero this out real quick. Okay. A 0.2 meter per second burn gets us to 33. Yikes. That is very sensitive. All right. That's kind of the target that I want right there. You're only waiting for Spaceflight Simulator 2? Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I'm curious to see if they'll try to do anything different from Juno, or if it's just going to be a worse knockoff. Oh man, I can't talk today. a worse knockoff of Kerbal Space Program, right? Because I think one of the big things that differentiates Juno New Origins from Kerbal Space Program is the ability to modify and adjust every part. It's like KSP, you have 100 different fuel tanks that are all different sizes and use different fuels and whatnot. Juno New Origins, you get one fuel tank, but you can make it whatever size you want. You can make it as big as you want. You can make it all sorts of different shapes. Make it wider at the base, make it narrower, make it very skinny, very fat, very tall, very small. It doesn't matter. So you don't need a bunch of different unique fuel tanks. You just have one fuel tank that you can adjust in an infinite combination of ways. And that's what kind of differentiates how those games are played, right? Same for the wings, same for really any other part, is every aspect of that part that you could want to control or want to change, you're able to change. Whereas Kerbal Space Program, unless you download a bunch of mods, which is what I'm doing right now, like Kerbal Space Program as its base game has very little customizability. And it's just a different design philosophy, right? I like Juno New Origins for that design philosophy. I think it's better. But one thing that Juno does not get very well, or does not do very well, that Kerbal Space Program does, is the actual flying and the actual gameplay. So the science system in Kerbal Space Program is, I think, more fun. The way their contracts work is a little bit more fun, and more gamified, more game-like. Whereas Juno's more pure sandbox. So they're just different fundamentally. Spaceflight Simulator is kind of this weird hybrid where there isn't really, it's pure sandbox. There isn't really any game element aside from going after the achievements. But other than doing the achievements, there's no money system or progression system. You have all the parts unlocked at the very beginning, and it's just a matter of what you can design to go after the achievements. And that's fun, but it's a little limited. Because part of the creative process, I think, especially in games like this, is imposing limits to make it more challenging. In a pure sandbox, I'll have people come on these live streams or leave comments on my videos and be like, oh, that's cool, but I did this other thing that's way better or way bigger, a video of this plane that I designed in Juno New Origins. And then someone comes on that video and comments it saying oh, that's nothing. I made a plane that goes Mach 28 or something crazy. So what? That doesn't mean anything because it's a sandbox where you have no limits. So you can do literally whatever you want. Whereas Kerbal Space Program does it very well and has money. So not only do you try to build big rockets, but you're trying to do it on a budget. It adds a constraint. It makes it more challenging. And because it's more challenging, you have to be more creative in your solutions. And that makes it a better game. That's what makes it interesting and fun and playable. And you're able to come back and keep playing it. Because if you're just left alone in a sandbox, some people have the natural creative drive that they'll just keep, enjoying playing in the sandbox. Other people just won't, and they won't enjoy it. So, it just varies from person to person. I like Juno as its designer, or for its designer and for its sandbox aspects. Also because it's a much smaller game, physical file size is smaller. It runs much better, much better. You can get much higher part counts before your computer starts to lag or the physics simulation starts to break down. Kerbal Space Program really starts to struggle after a couple hundred parts, whereas my computer can run a game or run a craft at a full 60 frames with 1,000 parts just fine. And that's an aspect of it being newer and a little bit better designed from the get-go. A little less spaghetti code, because I know that's one big thing that KSP has struggled with, and it's also part of the reason that KSP 2 was a flop, is the code structure from the original game that they borrowed, and so they inherited a lot of the issues with the code structure when Private Division bought the title, basically. So that's my take on the genre. It's totally my opinion, and you can't tell me I'm wrong because it's my opinion. In the meantime, we are still almost a whole year away from encountering Jool. We've got a little bit of ways to go here. Our maneuver is in 270 days and coming up. We're still at full time warp. And then after that, I think we have another 50 or so days before we actually get into Jool's sphere of influence. This mission has been going on now for over 3 years. It'll be about 4 years by the time we get to the planet. Achilles is signing off. All right, have a good night, friend. Yeah, it'll be about a full 4 years before we're even at Jool. So this is a long, long voyage. These guys are probably getting a little stir crazy. Let's actually, while we're here, we can transmit the science that we collected. And let's transmit the science, and let's also conduct a bunch of experiments. Because we are still in the sun's sphere of influence. Which means we can probably do all of our experiments again and process them in the labs. Run magnetometer report. Log magnetospheric data. I've already done these experiments for their like base science, but you can repeat them and do them in the lab for additional science. Let me aim camera. There we go. Gravity data to the lab. Pressure data to the lab. Temperature data to the lab. Let's have one of the scientists go EVA. She's on the opposite side. Here we go. We'll have her climb all the way down into the science bay, and we'll do an EVA report. We'll keep that. And then once she's down here, we'll have her get into the bay. There we go. We can do the mystery goo and the science junior. Keep. Restore. Conduct materials study. Transmit. And then we'll do it again. Because we can transmit that for a little bit of science. Right away. It's like some immediate science. And then we'll keep the rest. Okay. And restore. Oh, wait, no. Did that not? Hold on. Observe. Maybe I did this wrong. Process in lab. There we go. Restore. Conduct material science. Process in lab. Restore. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike there, but it looks like it controlled itself. And then we'll board the ship. And then that EVA report. Level up everyone real quick. Process that in the lab. So 42 data in this science module. And a bunch of data in this science module. Okay. Did I bring an experiment container? That would have been smart of me to do. I don't know if I did. No, I don't think I did. Man, bummer. Let's do a crew report while we're up here. We can transmit and we'll process, do both. So that brings our total science up. We're almost at 2,000 again, which is great. Let's go ahead and continue our time warp. Almost there. We're most of the way there. We still have a little ways to travel. Our waste heat's almost all the way bled off. We're down to about 12,000 of our 120,000 we can ultimately be at. Burning the engines is what generates a lot of the waste heat. There will always be a base level of waste heat from having this nuclear engine on board. But it's more than... The radiators have more than enough cooling capacity for it. It's when we get the engine burning that waste heat starts to build up. And as it builds up, the efficiency goes down. But now that our waste heat's mostly been controlled and managed, our ISP is back at 6,687. So short duration burns, less than 100 meters per second changes, our ISP is basically going to be the same. But if we're doing anything longer duration, like the escape burn from Kerbal brought our ISP all the way down to like 2,400, which is still really efficient. But not as efficient as 7,000 seconds of ISP. This burn, for instance, did not generate hardly any waste heat. And now we have a periapsis around BOP of 3,800, which is pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So with that, let's time warp to Jool encounter. Hold on. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Zoom out. Will it let me? Whatever. We'll just manually time warp. So, Jool's coming around here, and we're going very, very slow, orbitally speaking. Our relative velocity to the sun is 2,400 meters per second, which sounds fast, but on the scale of planets is, in fact, very slow. We are now inside Jool's sphere of influence, which means we have a whole batch of science to run. Let's go ahead and log magnetospheric data. That can be sent to the lab. Run the magnetometer report again for the second time in the mission. That can be processed in the lab. Let's aim the camera at this part. There we go. Let's do a crew report. We've not done a crew report from here before. 18 science. We'll transmit that one. Second one goes to the lab. And then let's do all of our experiments down here. So, conduct material study. I'm going to keep all these. Ooh. We'll transmit that. Yep. Observe mystery goo. That one can just go to the lab. Log gravity data to the lab. Log pressure data to the lab. Log temperature data to the lab. And then let's have Kerbal Kerman. You can have him get out. We'll have him do an EVA report. Keep that. He can also come down here and adjust the experiments. So we'll have him restore both of these. And then I'm going to have him store his EVA report in this lab. Store experiments. And then he'll get back into the bottom lab, lab 2. Lab 1, lab 2. And he's in lab 2. Have him board right there. Perfect. And then we'll review this and process this one in the lab. So now we have 20 data in this lab, 700 data in this lab. Go ahead and transmit signs from both. And let's level up the crew again. That brings everyone up to level 3. And I think Jebediah should be level 5 by now, right? No, he's still level 4. Let's see if we can get him to level 5 by the end of the mission. We've got a couple more locations to visit before this is all said and done. Let's add a maneuver out here. This is just going to be a point for us to warp towards. so that we don't overshoot. A zero thrust maneuver. And as we come around, Pole's going to rotate into position. And there we go. So we are going to impact, or not impact, but pass by Pole here. And it looks like our orbit here is actually getting decelerated quite a bit by the plant, which is good. Cancel the maneuver. Now, why the heck has that happened? What the hell? Hold. Gosh dang it. Sometime this game, man. Bill, go investigate. One of my fuel tanks just decided they'd all break. Are they all broken? Are they broken? Like properly broken? That'd be great if they are. Let's see if I can bump them. No. No, they're free floating. That's awesome. All right, screw that. We're going to load the save, I guess. How far ago is the last autosave of the game? This is year 30, day 271. Year 29, day 415. Okay, so that's not all of our progress lost. Oh, Kerbal Space Program, you silly piece of software, you silly game. Every once in a while, they're just like, no, it's time to freaking break. Time to just glitch out and screw you. I love it. I love this game so much. I love this game so much, guys. I love how stable it is. I love how few issues it gives me. All right. Where's the ship? Okay, just before the maneuver. That's fine. That's fine. It's not a total loss. We only missed out on that one batch of high atmosphere, not high atmosphere, high Jool orbit science. And we haven't quite done this burn. So maybe I just need to keep a closer eye on my ship here, make sure nothing explodes or breaks. It's cool. No warning, no indication of issue. Just the fuel tanks decided to disconnect themselves. That's fun. All right. Well, we're back on track. The ship has not self-destructed. 90 days to this little course correction. And this is the one that gets us close to Bop. As we swing by. Bop was going to be by far the hardest one to visit because it has this very inclined orbit. So I'm very lucky that we catch it on the inward trip instead of having to try and like get a rendezvous with it. It saves fuel to pass by it initially, and then we can also drop one of our landers early on. All right, minimum thrust. That's the burn. Ship is still intact. You can see Bop coming around in its very wide, very eccentric orbit here. As soon as it comes around, I think it's this next pass is the one we catch it on. Okay, let's reperform the science we did. So crew report, transmit. We'll have Jebel get out this time. He's going to do an EVA report, keep, and store that. And then we'll also have him get out and do all the research out here. We're just going to have him do it by hand. Observe. Keep. And then restore. Collect, restore. Conduct. This one will transit first. Once it's off, we'll restore it. And then once it's restored, we'll perform it a second time. This one will keep. Log temperature, keep, take, collect, restore. Log gravity data, keep, take. Log pressure data, keep, take. Okay. Now I'm going to have him come up to Lab 1 and store all the experiments in Lab 1 because Lab 2 is already working on experiments. This will be a little bit more efficient distribution of scientific data to be processed. So now that the experiments are in Lab 1, I can review them and we'll process all of these. And then the one that's in Lab 2 will transmit. Oh, and then I need to EVA Lusby here. Let him do the EVA report a second time. This one will keep. He'll board, and then he'll process the EVA report in Lab 1. Yes. Okay, so now Lab 1 has... how much data does Lab 1 have? 19.971. Lab 2 has 480. I don't fully get why Lab 2 gets all the data. We'll see. Maybe when Lab 2 fully fills up, then Lab 1 starts picking up the extra data that needs to be processed. Maybe. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Let's add a maneuver here. Verify the ship is still in one piece. Maybe we quick save. Just to be sure. So that in case anything else horrible and unexplainable happens, we've got a quick save to revert to. And then let's time warp to our next destination, which is the moon Bop. Tiny little asteroid of a moon orbiting around Jool. Okay, we should be inside Bop's sphere of influence. We are. Excellent. Crew report. Transmit, and then process. And we're going to rinse and repeat the whole shebang a second time. Conduct materials study. Transmit. Observe mystery goo. Transmit. Log temperature. Transmit. Log temperature, process. Log gravity data, transmit. Done. Log gravity data, process. Log pressure data, transmit. Log pressure data, process. Let's have Kerbal get out of his pod again. EVA report, keep. Store. Have him go down here and restore the science junior in the mystery goo. And then conduct material science and observe the mystery goo. We'll keep both of these experiments, collect and restore these. Oh, thank you for the subscription, sir. I appreciate it. Collect and restore that. And once the lag goes away, there we go. Have him get back on board, and we can process those as well. So review data, process, process, process. Process. Oh, also we need to transmit an EVA report. I just realized. EVA report, keep, board. We are double dipping on all the science we can. I'm trying to get the absolute max out of this. Review stored data, transmit. That brings our current science collected up to 22 and 10. 2,210 units of science. And then in the labs, we have about 1,000 units of data and 1,000 units of science in lab 2. Lab 1 has 125 units of science, 46 units of data. So we'll go ahead and transmit both of these. We have more than enough electric charge with all of our solar panels. I can transmit as much as I want. I don't have to worry about any of that, which is awesome. Now that we're in BOP's orbit, we have about 5 minutes, actually, until we leave orbit. So 5 minutes is not a ton of time to do a lot. I want to see what a burn here. Retrograde burn gets me a wider orbit. So we don't want to do a wider orbit. We want to do a couple of things when we get into BOP's sphere of influence. I'm going to do the first thing now, which is we're going to deploy one of our landers. Let's aim the camera here. So let's pick a lander, any lander. We're going to decouple this one. Switch over to this guy. Extend its antenna. And we're going to have it go retrograde. And I'm going to be a little limited in my control of it. Oh, do I not have a relay? Ooh. Oh boy. We may have a problem. Man, everything was going so well, but we may actually have a problem. I don't have a relay dish on my ship. And I should have seen this coming. I should have seen this through. I can still control it enough to land it. Because I can go retrograde and I can go surface. Okay. Can I run its experiments? Okay, I can run its experiments. I won't be able to transmit anything back, so... shoot. Shoot. We're going to have a lot of scientific data stuck on the surface of a planet that we can't actually get access to. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get it down there, because we've come this far. No sense in stopping now. I've got just enough delta V to perform this landing, I think. It'll be close, but I should have just enough delta V. How much burn time? 541. Okay. Let's time accelerate a little bit, shall we? As we approach the planet, let's light the engines. We reach periapsis in 1 minute 46 seconds. I need to start decelerating this ship. If I switch over here... Okay, interesting. Okay, so I've switched over. This is still slowing down. Its engines are still burning. We're going to let it go. And in the meantime, I'm going to control my main ship while that's decelerating over there, and it should still be burning its engine. Maybe not. Maybe we just have to keep this engine burning. Okay. Well, we'll let the main ship do the flyby. Oh, what a conundrum we're in. I can at the very least get this into orbit, and we can figure out something to do with it from there. My idea was to drop these off, but because I don't have a relay dish on my main ship, I actually can't control these probes, and it's SOL. Yeah, it's out of control. We've lost it. Oh, SAS back on. Nope. Nope, it's gone. Its electric charge is at 0. Well, okay. So that's an issue that we're going to have to figure out. So one probe's already a fail. And it's a hard fail. It's totally a lost cause. That's going to tumble into some weird orbit. Let's not miss out on an opportunity for more science. Conduct material study. Observe mystery goo. We're still high in space. Okay. I can still log gravity data. All right, so partial failure. The good news is we can do gravity data for every different biome we pass over. And it's not an inconsequential amount of data either. Valleys. This is all valleys. Okay. I think we're just going to get valleys from here on out. So we did get 1,000 units of science from the pass. No go on the probe, which is a bummer. Because we don't have a relay antenna on this thing. Oof. My old version had a relay antenna. Just a short-range one, but it was still good enough for this kind of work. This one does not have a relay antenna. It just has the main dish. That's the kind of oversight that kills me. Killing me. It's killing me. All right, we got every little bit of gravity science we could on that pass. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of that probe's useful life. We're going to keep the other probes on hand. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Do not write Dres Jool. There we go. Just because we have screwed up once does not mean we need to keep screwing up. So 1,000 meters per second. Let's do it in shorter clips. Let's do a 579 meter per second burn. We're going to do it in two sets of burns here to get our orbit close to Jool. So the first one just to get into Jool orbit so we don't keep drifting past. And then we'll do a second burn to get actually captured in our final orbit altitude. And then from there, we can make plans on ascending and descending nodes. So it looks like right about here, we would do a planned burn. Hello, Clocky Clock. Welcome to the live stream, bud. So we've already done a stupid. Our first stupid of the mission. Not like a game ender, but certainly a game disappointment. We didn't put a relay antenna on the ship, and so all these probes that we brought with us. No, there are some stupid things in KSP. We didn't bring a relay antenna, so we can't control any of the probes we brought. That's pretty stupid. Oof. Oof. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Is the mission a total bust? Absolutely not. Obviously, we've got plenty of scientific data. Yeah, I know. And what's funny, too, is the original version of the ship had a little relay antenna. I put a little relay antenna right down here. So that the ship acted as a backup relay. Duna already had a relay satellite in orbit. And we used to have a relay satellite around Jool. The KSP Crown Jool, specifically. And it got kicked out of orbit by some shenanigans. And now it's way over here. Absolutely useless piece of junk over here. Did I land on any moons? No, we were going to try to land on Bop. So we've already encountered one moon. We're not going to land on Tylo. It's not worth it. It's not worth it on this mission, dude. Maybe. In the future, we will. We'll visit every planet eventually, but Tylo is lower on the priority list. We've expended one probe, realized that we can't use the probe, so we're going to hold on to the rest of the probes until we figure out a solution for comms. I can deploy the probe to orbit and let it just sit in orbit, and then once we're ready, we could drop them. These two. The Lathe rover, we're not going to be able to deorbit on its own, so we're going to have to keep this one on board. It's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookies crumbled today. But anyway, let's continue on with the mission. So we're leaving Bop. We're going to do our first burn at Tylo, or not Tylo, Jool here. It's a 13-minute long burn. This will get us captured. No, we're going to try a rover. I want to try a rover. This little guy right here. Because there was a contract that we ended up not taking, but I wanted to be able to do the advanced scanning surface feature science. And that basically requires you to have a rover. You can do it with a plane if you land the plane next to everything, but it's, it's eh. Also, until I get a better design for a propeller plane that I can deploy in orbit, super annoying, and I don't want to keep repeating that process. Put a rover in the cargo bay. You're adding a lot of mass to an already large rocket, my guy. It's a lot of mass you're adding to this. Okay, full throttle. No, we're going to use the rover for lathe. This is the lathe rover right here. It's this guy with a little heat shield. We're going to drop it through the atmosphere, parachutes, drogue chute, parachute, and then set it down on the ground on parachutes. Was the plan. That was the plan. But now the plan is something else. Something else entirely. So anyway, let's just look at our burn right here. This number says 2,000 meters per second of ISP. This is a lie. It's totally wrong, and you should ignore it. Our waste heat is building up quite rapidly, but that's okay. Good news is we can time warp through these burns. Our ISP is going down as we're heating up here quite a bit. I still don't know if I trust the time warp engine. Will I ever land? Yeah. I mean, we brought equipment to land on 3 of the moons. Or 4 of the moons. One of them's already been wasted. I'm going to hold on to these. So, like, solutions at this point, right? We have to bring something up to Jool. Oh, with crew? Maybe. Maybe. It's a solid maybe. Like, my goal is not to put Kerbals on every planet. Like, that's not the goal of this live stream. Now, we might end up having to do that, but that is not the explicit goal. The goal of this live stream is to unlock the faster-than-light technology. Now, along the way, we might unlock some technologies that would make it easy to do crewed landings on all the planets. In which case, I would want to do that. And use it for what? And use it to go to all the planets really fast. Go to, like, instantly. We can go to any planet just instantly. It goes from a 4-year transit to Jool to a 30-minute transit to Jool. If there are, and you know what will really determine the direction the live stream goes, if when I deploy that infrared telescope out to 550 astronomical units, if it actually does start discovering new stars or other systems, then that's what we will do. I haven't downloaded any explicit planet packs. I don't know if this mod includes a planet pack or not, and I'm not going to go find out, if that makes sense. I want to be surprised. So we'll deploy that infrared telescope, and then if it turns out, hey, look, there's other planets to explore, then ooh, yay, we get to go explore at least other stars, maybe other planets. If not, you know, bummer. Maybe we download some interstellar planet packs. We'll see. Do you have any good... I think you've suggested some in the past, but do you have any good recommendations for planet packs in case it doesn't? Yes. Okay. Spill. All right, 25 meters per second left on this burn. 15 meters per second left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shut the engine down. We're a little past. Ugh, and just as we complete one expensive burn, we go straight into the next expensive burn. So this one is about the same amount for about the same time. The KCA Kerbal. Kerbal? How do you... KSP K... Here we go. Entirely new black hole system with 30 unique celestial bodies, including a supermassive black hole, 4 stars, 15 planets, 10 moons, and asteroids, each with its own unique set of challenges and features. Oh, with a wormhole. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I also heard there was another mod pack called Infinite Discoveries, which was supposed to be pretty good, and in a similar vein. Okay, we are 13 minutes away, or 20 minutes away from the burn, and it's a 12-minute, probably be slightly longer as our thrust will go down. We're cooling off. It's good that we got a little chance to cool off the engines here before we start the next burn. I'm going to go ahead and start it now. Let's see. How does this work? Yeah, but I guess my question with that, I was looking at Infinite Discoveries, but what is it? Does it just procedurally generate star systems? Is it a tool to procedurally generate new systems? And then the follow-up question is, is it like a new system that you play in to where like it gets rid of Kerbin and replaces, like, the Kerbal system goes away and it's just one system with procedurally generated planets? Or does it add those systems to this current world that are like way out in the distance that I can travel to? Because it would be kind of dumb to like unlock the Alcubierre drive and then like, oh, let's download this new planet pack, and then the new planet pack is just replaces the current system. So I'm no longer traveling between the stars. I'm just in the new system. Well, and then it kind of defeats the purpose, you know? You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? This burn is going to take forever. Let's go 4 times time acceleration. My radiator's getting a little toasty. They will equalize. It's not going to overheat. We do have enough radiators. The engine just runs inefficiently after a while, but it's fine. Okay. 300 meters per second left. This is the plane change maneuver, and it's expensive. But it'll get us down to the Jool orbital plane, which is good. Well, what I'm really looking for, right? Here's what I don't want. What I don't want is a new system where, like, all of this is just a new system, right? I want all of this unchanged, and then way over here, there's another star we can go to. And way over there's another star we can go to. And way down here is another star we can go to. And so I can leave the Kerbal system, leave here, and go way out there and visit this star and that star and that star. And it doesn't need to be infinite, but just like 1 or 2 different locations that are, you know, light years distant. That's what Infinite Discoveries is like, or that's what, I don't know how to pronounce. Cacalbello? KCAL? I'm just going to call it K-Cow from now on. It's not a real word, so no one can tell me I'm pronouncing it wrong. Okay, we're almost done with this plane change burn. Our efficiency is all the way down at 2815 ISP, which is still really good. The other rocket got at most, 900, 800 ISP? And that was cold. This one runs over 4 times that. Over 3 times that when it's fully, you know, at saturation waste heat levels. That's pretty sweet. Okay, shut the engine down. That's good enough. Now, our goal is to get right here in our target orbit. I didn't realize this was a stationary orbit with an actual target. Oh, so it adds a wormhole for fast travel. Well, that's not the same. Here's what I want. I want a mod that does what KSP2 promised. And I know KSP2 didn't live up to its promises, and I'm not going to be upset if there isn't a mod that exists, but that's what I'm looking for, right? A mod that gives you actual, real places you can actually go to and explore. Okay, not going to bother with a burn node on this one. We're just going to go retrograde. And do it manually. Oh, Promised Worlds. Okay, so someone modded in what KSP... Okay, is that why it's called Promised Worlds? Because they didn't live up to their promise? Well, that is the point of this series, is it not? We're working up to the Alcubi air drive. So that we can go faster than light. All right, we're lowering our apoapsis slowly, but surely. These burns are going to cost us the most delta V. Of all the maneuvers, this series of burns is going to cost us the most. Between this and leaving the Jool system, that's why my goal is to start inwards and work my way outwards to each of the planets. So that by the time we're ready to leave, we're already at the highest planet. And then it will cost us the least amount of delta V to go from pole back to interstellar or interplanetary space. Engines are getting hot again. That's okay. If I can get this orbit inside of Tylo's orbit, I'll be happy. And there goes our little failed probe way out there. Okay, let's see how the ship is doing. It hasn't eaten itself yet. That's always a good sign. We've got a decent collection of science on board. It's almost... it's getting there. It's getting there. We're back at equilibrium heat. We are decelerating. It's just slow. It's slow going, but it's honestly a pretty good sign because you can see how much fuel we have on board left, and that's like your best indicator that this mission is going to work is just looking at how much liquid hydrogen we have on board in our large assortment of tanks. We can also use a little RCS here if we want. It's a little bit of cheating. But as a kick, kind of a booster to our nuclear engine, we can use RCS thrusters to help decelerate us a little bit. I don't want to keep burning that. I want to keep a little bit of monopropellant on board. So we'll keep about 1,000. 900 units monopropellant's fine. It's plenty. We're down to 62 kilonewtons. So at its max operating temperature with max waste heat, that's as low power as the engine's going to get. Because now you can look at the waste heat, and it's actually going down by 0.02. Very, very, very slightly going down. Which means we're kind of equilibrium. We're steady state on heat buildup. Let's get just past Val's orbit, and then we'll cut the engines, do a pass, and then go for our next burn to get down the rest of the way. And then each of these orbits gives the engines time to cool off, so we'll start at our top efficiency again, and then work our way back down to it. Okay, shut the engine down. Radiators are starting to bleed off the heat. That's good. Let's do our pass. Waste heat comes way down and then comes back up. It's going to pogo stick up here for a little bit, but that's okay. Efficiency has come back up as well. Okay. Let's go back to pointing retrograde. While we're here, let's go ahead and transmit the science we've collected. Another 86 and 600 units of science. And that brings our total science up to 3,500. Be a little over 4,000 now. I think we've accomplished we've done science data from orbit of Jool. So now it's just this contract to get into this orbit. Okay, throttle all the way back up. Engine is burning. There we go. We're up to 4,000 science. Excellent. Excellent. Let's go ahead and select these numbers so I can keep an eye on them. So 15,010,000 meters is our target orbit. Hey, we're up to 8 concurrent viewers. Welcome, everyone. If you're just joining the live stream now, we are flying a big old ship. Big old ship with a big old nuclear engine around Jool. This is our first manned expedition to Jool. Trying to get tons and tons of scientific data to further our research into more exotic forms of propulsion for the program. We're going to hit Jool. We're going to get down to this target orbit for this contract that we have. And then we're going to move out from Jool to Lathe, then Val, then Tylo. That is normal. That is a normal side effect. Do you have Juno New Origins? If not, buddy, you should get it. It's like this game if this game was built by people who knew how to write code. Oh my goodness, this is still slow. ISP is way down, already down back to about 3,000 instead of 6,000. So we lose out about half of our efficiency. We're half as efficient for these longer burns. I'm going to actually throttle off, and we'll let the heat come down a little bit. And then we're going to time warp forward just slightly, because that'll let our efficiency come back up. I know KSP is the OG, right? But man, it shows its age. It really does show its age now. All right. Slightly more efficient, slightly better thrust to weight ratio. If we spend half of our fuel getting all the way down, then theoretically we should have half of our fuel to get all the way back to Kerbal. So, you know, theoretically this works. We are getting some lathe encounters there. That's okay. We are nearly circularized, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and throttle off. And we're going to rinse and repeat here a little bit. So I'm just going to warp forward in time, let the engines cool. Go back to retrograde, spool them up again. We're going to do a series of shorter burns now. This will be more efficient than a very long burn, because we're going to take advantage of the fact that the engine has time to cool off. Ah, Mods Avery, welcome back. Hello. This will also let us get our periapsis more in line with our target. There we can see it's coming down now. And I just want to get my periapsis and apoapsis lined up. Okay, throttle down. Because now we need to get over our target location, which is going to mean a little bit of time warping. Am I still high Jool orbit? And then do I want to go for low Jool orbit? That's the real question. Log gravity data. In space high over Jool. Yeah, okay. Log pressure data. Log temperature data. I guess we can still process all these. Conduct material science. Observe mystery goo. Crew report. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We've converted another one. It's the superior game. I want you to know that. It is the superior game. It's fine. You can be honest. Don't get me wrong, I like both games. I don't like them both equally. I prefer Juno New Origins. We happen to be on a KSP kick right now. It's like Minecraft. You know, I don't play Minecraft hardly ever. But then about once a year, I just binge it for a week and I get it out of my system, and then I stop wanting to play Minecraft for another year, roughly. And that's just the life cycle. Okay, Periapsis is lined up. That's great. And now we just time warp for a bit. For a lot. It is catching up to us. Yeah, it's the 1 month KSP phase. It's not a phase, Mom. It's 100% a phase. And then I will grow out of it and go back to a game that doesn't hate me. Let's level up the crew again. Get everyone up to level 3. Let's also transmit science from both of our labs. Let's get the rocket back under control too. So that's 200 science plus the additional little bit. That brings us up to 4,800. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. We do have the technology to start processing and storing antimatter, which maybe that'll be our next mission. Once we get this contract completed, we'll go back to Kerbal Space Center and do a haul of all of our new science. Okay. The zone is almost below us. It's getting closer. You're thinking, so bananas is potassium, right? It's the radioactive isotope of potassium, which is not antimatter. That's still matter, my guy. It's just radioactive matter. Dude, we're going to be time warping so much. Whatever happened to that probe? Oh, never mind. We're still way over here. It's not antimatter, dude. That's not how antimatter works. Okay, we're closer. I think a couple more orbits. Ooh, okay, that's it. All right, we're over the zone. So now we're going to lower... well, one, we're going to stop spinning. We're going to start by stopping the spin. And then we're going to lower our apoapsis to get to the stationary orbit. I'm going to make one more plane change adjustment at the descending node here. Do they? I don't... Do bananas emit positrons? This is the kind of silly stuff. Okay, guy. All right. So you're talking about the beta plus decay of bananas? Yeah, potassium 40 is the radioactive element in bananas. And technically, and it's a big technically, that's antimatter. That's a load bearing technically, all right? That's... That's as much antimatter as saying that the faster you walk, the faster you time travel. You're technically right, but only in the most extreme sense of the word. Okay, come on. Come on. Just get the rest of the way there, please. There we go. That's how you got your PFP? Yeah, that I believe, actually. That much I do, in fact, believe. Let's go ahead and do the final burns here. So throttle all the way up. We just need to shave off another 500 kilometers from this orbit. And that does it. Oh, wait, it doesn't. It literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. This whole contract was for nothing. Never mind. The contract's glitched. Ignore the contract. We're just moving on to the rest of the mission. I'm going to go ahead and lower our apoapsis even further. Wait, no. This should... Do I need to detach the probe? This probe should count for the mission. Right here. We have the probe right here. It's got an accelerometer. It's got a thermometer. And it's made... But I did, though. It's right here. Here's your probe. If I don't want to detach it and this not work. All right, KSP, you win this round. Stupid game. We'll complete that contract the other way. I know how to complete contracts. In the meantime, let's get to low Jool orbit. I'm gonna do a relatively high eccentricity orbit because I don't want to burn the extra fuel to circularize in low Jool orbit. I just need a close pass to get the science. And then we'll go back from this eccentric orbit with a low periapsis, and we'll start shooting for lathe. And we'll do the rest of the contracts we can do. I think I can do the lathe mission without comms. The lander should be set up in such a way that I can just kind of drop it into the atmosphere, and the rover should end up on the ground successfully. I may be wrong. It may not work, but I'm going to try. We're going to try to deposit the lander. And then if it doesn't work, you know, tough. That sucks. Let's get as low as we can get here. It would be really nice if we could do a series of gravity assists into captures of all the other 3 planets that we haven't visited yet, and then end it with a gravity assist out of the system. That would be pretty sick. But for the probes to work, I guess we could do we could deploy the probe on a intercept with the atmosphere, and then raise periapsis back out of the atmosphere and get back onto our gravity assist trajectory, and that would work. Also, how low do I need to get around Jool? Let's go ahead and cut the engines for a second. I guess we could also... The other challenge would be trying to hit all of Jool's biomes, too, with the gravity and EVA. Why does this wiki page not tell me anything? Man. All right, whatever. Let's get a little lower. Let's get a little bit closer, shall we? What was what noise? Like the clacking? I don't know. I don't know what noise. I'm like tapping my desk. Okay. Let's see if that's low enough. And then we can adjust more if we need to. Still high space. You're a silly man, you know that? Okay, flip back around. We'll do another burn. We are a little over half of our fuel remaining. Look at that giant engine plume. Science. Let's just look up the science page. Here we go. Jool. 4 million. Oh, okay. So we just need to get 1 million meters closer. That's about what I thought. I was aiming for... I figured it would be about 3 million meters to get to near space. It's 4. Which is about... It's about what I figured it would be. Do we have any other gravity data to take? High overjoule. No. Run magnetometer report, maybe? See if there's anything new here. I think we've already done this one. Oh, we can do it again, though. Same for this one. Sure, we'll take those. Almost low enough. We're almost there. As soon as we get to like 3,900, we'll call it. 4. There we go. That's good enough for me. All right, low Jool orbit now. Or near Jool space. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty close right there. It feels close. Okay. Log gravity data. In space near Jool. Process. Log temperature. Process. Run them each twice. Crew report, transmit. And then let's do our EVA, and then we'll also we'll have Mergus the scientist get out this time. We'll have him restore these. And observe. We'll have these restored as well. EVA report, keep. Okay. So Mergus can get back into his pod. We'll go ahead and process this one, or transmit this one, sorry. And then we'll switch back, do another EVA report, board. This one gets thrown in the lab. That brings us up to 2,000 data out of 6,000 in Lab 2 and 1,000 data out of 6,000 in Lab 1. That's pretty good, gentlemen. That's pretty good, I'd say. And brings us up to 4,866 total science. So we're in our low Jool orbit with the ship. Lathe is now our next target. So we're going to have to wait for our opportunity to rendezvous with Lathe, which it'll come in time. But we'll go ahead and return to the Kerbal Space Center now, because there's a couple cleanup jobs that need to happen in the meantime. All right, we're back here. We still have plenty of money, which is a good thing to have on hand. This tier of science each costs 3,000 science, which is getting more expensive again, but we can still make some decent progress. Experimental fuel storage gives us the metallic hydrogen fuselage. And the antimatter trap, the electrostatic particle trap. So there's some interesting options there. This one was the kind of technology I was thinking about earlier, because we can get the thermal turbojets and then the halberd engine. So it gives you air breathing or different rocket modes. So it's like the Rapier, but it's a better version of the Rapier, basically. Where you get a higher thrust. I think a higher ISP as well. And then it just depends on your fuel modes. But it's a really good engine. It's a really, really, really good engine. The other one that's interesting is the thermal aerospike, the Phoenix Turbo Ramjet Hybrid. You do have to have a reactor on board. I don't know how that would work per se. But what you can do is you have your reactor and you have this engine, and then you're using intake air and a propellant, or once you get up out of the atmosphere, you can do just a propellant, So that's interesting. There's also the nuclear saltwater engines, which is where things get really weird and interesting. And then you start getting into your Orion drives and like all this sort of crazy stuff. So there's that. There's this, which is kind of interesting. I actually don't understand how most of the electrical techs work with this mod, because it gets a little hand wavy. We could unlock the computer core and the AI. Which is where it gets really weird, and you basically don't need comms with the Kerbal Space Center anymore when you get AI. That's kind of crazy. That would have solved the problem we're having right now if we weren't already having that problem. So it's a little too late for that. I'm trying to see if there's any techs that would upgrade our current engines, though. I don't think so. Maybe up here? No. No. It would be cool if we could find a tech where the engine we're using right now got an efficiency boost. Get the stuff already. There's too many options, all right? I'm trying to make up my mind. It's not that easy, okay? Gosh. I guess plasma. We're going to need plasma propulsion because that unlocks new stuff. I should probably do some experiments on the ground with these new like fusion reactors before I try doing anything with them. It would be cool to have a fusion powered rocket. Make a space station. That's the other thing, is we could put it may be time to start experimenting with beamed energy now, because we have all this beamed energy technology, right? And maybe we push down that path a little bit more. There's also the solar shield. Dude, I'm having fun. I am having fun, all right? I'm trying to decide what cool new technology I want to get. The all-in-one ISRU refinery is also cool. You know, the problem we're having is that there's too many really cool options, all right? KSC phased array laser aperture upgrade. Wait, does the Kerbal Space Center have a... Oh, we can build something at the Kerbal Space Center. Maybe we should be doing that, dude. This upgrades all of this, too. X-ray free electron laser transmitter upgrade. Oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Make a station. We could start producing antimatter in Kerbal orbit. Do you want to do that? You want to start making some antimatter? Because apparently the science lab makes antimatter. And we could also build some antimatter collectors. And I found out that 900,000 or 900 kilometers is the ideal orbit to capture antimatter around Kerbin. So we could do that. And then make our way towards getting antimatter. That'd be fun. All right, well, let's make our way towards getting antimatter, which means pushing up this tech tree. So advanced fusion reactions gets us to this, and then that gets us to unified field theory. Once we get unified field theory, we get the antimatter, the beam core antimatter engine, and the antimatter catalyzed fusion plasma engine. All right? Okay. Okay, that's what we'll do. Also, we have 666 science, so great. That's awesome. let's also look at our options for missions. We have science data from the moon, sure. KSP Duna Prospector adjusted orbit, sure. 11 asteroids threatening Kerbal, sure. Extract ore from Duna, deliver it to Ike? No. Ooh. Have a Sentinel infrared telescope. Okay, this one's the moneymaker, right? So this is how I got all the money we have right now, is I took a contract like this. Pays out $2 million in advance, gives you almost $4 million on the back end. Easy money here. Easy money here. Now we're up to $8 million. Tracking station time, baby. Let's go. Because I've already got a satellite that's near Eve's orbit. And if I just need to get slightly inside Eve's orbit, I think we still have enough fuel on board to pull that off. Because I was actually really smart about... Oh, no, it needs to get way down there, dude. Is that the orbit I need to get to? Yikes. Maybe I don't have enough fuel to get down there. Maybe we need to launch a new rocket to get down there. That's way down there, dude. We'll build a space station. We'll get this contract going, or at least start. Let's zoom out. Do I just need to raise orbit a little bit for this one? Looks like it. Okay. Not you. 11 billion. We're at 10. So this is the Kerbal one. And then this one, yeah. So we need to get way down here. Okay. We can do that. Deal. You got it. That'll probably ruffle his feathers pretty good, too. Which, it's fine, you know. It's fine. He can stand to have his feathers ruffled a little bit. Okay. Now we just need to map 11 asteroids with this one. So we're going to need a second one of these rockets. We're not going to be able to... This guy does not have the fuel to get down below Moho orbit. That's a little crazy. So we need another satellite. And we'll name it KSP Overwatch 2. The good thing about these, it'll be cooked. It doesn't need to be much below Moho, just slightly below Moho. Also, hold on. We've got some options here, right? So, vehicle assembly building time. We unlocked the Moho transfer module probe and probe core already. And we can use those. We can also use a solar sail. Since we're going to be right next to the sun, it'll actually give you a decent amount of thrust. Not like a ton of thrust, not a lot of thrust, but a non-negligible, there we go, hard words to say, amount of thrust. I don't know how this probe is actually supposed to go together. Theoretically, they're two parts of the same mission, right? Like, that's the idea. Does one go over here, though? Does it go like this? That seems wrong. MPO probe. Yeah, that's probably fine. So this will be our probe core. Now, science-wise, we'll buy this. We're not going to put this on it. A future mission, we're going to launch this bad boy. Look at this. It's the James Webb Space Telescope, everybody. How fun. But that's actually not what we're putting on. We're putting a smaller, more demure infrared telescope on this one. Okay. Let's load it up with the regular science that we would normally load a probe of this nature with. Does it? Is that why this mission gave me 6 million? Is because it's going to be just an absolute pain in the dick. Do I need a heat shield? And I can put a decent sized heat shield on this, I suppose. This thing has 800 ablator. This one has 1800 ablator. I guess we could stack heat shields, right? Can I? How many heat shields can I stack? Just like back to back. Put the whole thing under a heat shield. This thing has xenon gas on board. So I guess it is built. It's built for a xenon engine, right? It's actually got a lot of xenon gas. Hold on. Engines. Does it matter which direction? Oh, that's kind of sick. Does it matter which direction the probe's facing to where the heat shield is impacted, or can I put the heat shield anywhere? Because I could put the heat shield, like... You don't know? Well, why don't you know? See, knowing is part of the value you bring to the table, right? My viewers are supposed to know things and then tell me so that I can do them. And if you don't know, then you're useless. And that makes 2 useless people. Me and you. And now look at the situation we're in. Well, yeah, if it eats a blader, but heat shields have a blader, right? Like this is the thing that has the ablator on it. So it stands to reason if I put a heat shield on my probe. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, my guy. Were you not paying attention? A big heat shield. You know, I keep forgetting that I can do that. There we go. See? That's what I had in mind. Now we can just scoot this in like that. And now the whole thing is protected. See? See, it's protected now. We can put a couple of graphene radiators on this thing. And maybe not even. I don't know. How many radiators do we need? Maybe we have a radiator up here. Like that. I know. He usually doesn't miss a live stream. I think this is the first time he's been absent for one, which is kind of strange. Now, we're going to need some electrical. Right? And I think just a little bit of solar panels. He's not... I think that's not quite the case. I think he's just a little competitive. He's one of those guys who is very excited when they get to say first on a video, you know? Very naturally competitive guy. Does this look stupid? This might look stupid. Is this stupid? Chat, is this dumb? I'm afraid this might be dumb. I don't know what's going to be effective. Or like what's really going to be required to make this probe successful. I've got these graphene radiators, which are really good at dissipating heat. If heat is the problem, it looks Kerbal. That's not a compliment, and you know it. I've got the xenon engines down here. I don't know, dude. Like, is this do a loop in the dagger? Maybe, dude. I mean, I've done basically a loop. You mean like a vertical loop? I don't even know if it'll do it, if I'm being honest. Okay. I think that's good. Maybe that's good. I don't know. I don't know, dude. We're guessing at this point. We'll put the regular scientific instruments on board. Pressure. And then I guess a magnetometer boom. And the dual technique magnetometer. Which I suppose needs to be rotated not in the way. That should be fine right there. Oh, well, I did try. It's funny you say that or you ask that. I did try messing around with making a variant of that plane, but using the 2.5 meter sized equipment and basically having a like a cargo variant of the ship. It effectively is what I was trying to do, is make a cargo variant. And specifically what I was trying to do is I was trying to get something that could carry fuel into orbit, so we could do orbital refuelings with a reusable ship. And I think I got something that works. This was after the live stream. This was just me on my downtime, kind of troubleshooting some ideas, seeing if it would work. But the idea was to have something that could bring liquid hydrogen up to the, our big ship. And then we could refuel it easier. You know what? Why am I just taking your word for this? I'm just going to go look. Do I need a blader on Moho? Or actually Kerbal. Is there any... Okay. Here we go. Gravitational influence, blah, 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 blah. Previously, the closest sustained orbit, or closest sustained altitude was 1,340 meters, but now bodies emit radiation, which heats parts and overheats parts before it could reach atmosphere. The heating varies on the surface area. It shines in part-specific heat. Using parts with higher maximum temperature reduces the chance of overheating, making an inflatable heat shield a good choice to shield your delicate parts from heat. So no, it doesn't consume a blader. Man, you're making me... You lied to me. And now I look stupid, and my craft looks stupid. It's just hot, so we just need a way to mitigate heat. Guys over here telling me it burns up a blader. Yeah, and then you let me keep going as though I did. Jerk. Alright, let's redesign this with not being stupid in mind. It eats a blader. We just need... All we need is to keep it cool. And I don't think we're going to get low enough that it's really, really, really going to matter. Now, the game did say, like, the inflatable heat shield is a good way to shield your craft from the heat, which is true, I'm sure, because then it just stops mattering. But if we just pack some radiators on board, we should be able to mitigate it. Keyword should. Again, it's a load-bearing should in that case. Let's reposition some scientific equipment. Let's put the dual technique magnetometer on this side. So these will both extend that way. We'll keep this. This little stack here is probably fine. Or actually, we could save on space by rotating this up. Like that. There we go. Now I only need like a couple of these. Yeah. Okay. Now, thermal effects, right? The thermal effects are going to be intense. So we do need a thermal control system. I guess we could do one on the front, one on the back. Kind of like this. Sure. Yeah, that should probably help. And I don't think we really need anything else. Although I guess we're gonna need a couple more struts now. Okay. We can also make this fairing not as big, which is always good. So it's a more normal sized payload. And then let's throw the fuel tanks on board. So we'll go actually fairly large with the upper stage, because it's got a long ways to travel. 350, 380 with the Wolfhound. We'll go for the more expensive engine. It eats a blader. Yeah. What's that give us delta V wise once we're in orbit? 5 grand? 5 grand's probably enough. It's probably too much, honestly. Let's back that off just a little bit. What if we do the smaller engines? 4660. Yeah, sure. And then, yes, we will make it orange. You didn't even have to ask. We're making it orange. It's okay. orange, orange. What's the engine? Shoot, what's the 2.5 meter engine you kept saying I should use? Mastodon? What's more efficient? Mastodon's 305, mainsail's 310, 13, 8, 1283, 1379, 1500. We'll go Mastodon for cost. But oh, don't worry, we're not done yet, because we're gonna make this look like the Delta 4 when it's all said and done. That's right. We're going Delta 4 heavy now. Is that lined up? That's lined up. Okay, sweet. I'm going to get these slightly closer together. And then arrow. Orange. There we go. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's get these vertically lined up now. Nice. Structural. Yeah, it's Delta heavy time. Probably want some Separatrons on this bad boy. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Okay. And then we do some struts there to hold the payload down. Yeah, that'll definitely get us to our destination for sure. With Delta V to spare, it looks like. But a quick way to make it more efficient is to use the fuel line. There we go. Kerbal Observer. Save, launch. This thing should be able to get nice and deep in into Kerbal's sphere of influence, like really down there. We got the fuel for it, for sure. And then the MPO probe, it didn't explicitly say that it had all the bells and whistles, but I would assume since it cost $24,000 that it probably has all of my preferred maneuver nodes. I did not put any like additional guidance. Oh, it actually doesn't. It's just got the basics. Whatever. Let's go ahead and launch it. I don't care. It's a little wiggly. Rocket's a little wiggly. It won't be like uncontrollable, but it is a wee bit wiggly. I just need to adjust it slightly adjust it. Okay, prograde, and it should be fine. Should be fine from here. Okay. We'll go 3 times time acceleration. Make this launch a little quicker. Yeah, it all checks out. Let's slow down a little bit. Separate the side boosters. Those guys are falling away. Upper stage is getting ready to leave atmosphere. I'm going to burn super aggressively into orbit here. Go ahead and ditch heat shield or the fairing. And pretty much good to just continue this burn, actually. So yeah, I'm just going to continue this burn because this is actually going to put us on the trajectory we want out of the system. Just like that. No need to stop in low Kerbal orbit because we're going all the way out. Wait, I didn't put comms on it. Dang it! I didn't put comms on it again. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to put the comms on it. Oopsies. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do that basic thing. This is like the 8th time I've done this. Every time. Dang it. Communications. Frickin'. Where can I even put an antenna on this anymore? Screw it. Put that there. You can squeeze a little relay dish here. Nah, even that looks dumb. Plus, I think it needs to be bigger, too. Can I get this on there somehow? I can put it on the back of the antenna. And extend it like that. Does that work? Sure. I guess that works. Yeah, why not? That's fine, I guess. I don't think I put extra batteries on it either, now that I think about it. Man, I really am just phoning this one in. 100%, like... Put so much effort and time and thought into the heat shields, forgot about all the other basic stuff I needed. I don't think it needs the batteries, though. It's going to be so close to the sun, it's going to have plenty of power. What, oh, no, it's fine. It's got 4,000 electric charge. What am I talking about? It's literally fine. What? Yeah, whatever. Never mind, don't care. I'm going to launch it a little later, though. Because then I can just be super lazy about my ascent. Because it doesn't matter. Because we're just going to go straight into ejection. Okay. Just keep an eye on my apoapsis here. Make sure it keeps climbing at a reasonable rate. Yeah. Stage separation. There they go. But other than that, it literally doesn't matter. We're going skipping low orbit, we're going straight into ejection. Into escape. Fairings out. You can extend the solar panels while we're here. And what's cool too is I literally don't even have to plan this first bit of the burn because I already know that I'm going to need to get so much lower. Let's extend this antenna. And then, yeah, let it go the rest of the way. I put two of these big these two big radiator thermal control systems. If that's not enough, then shoot. We're out of luck. But it really should be enough. Like, it's a lot of heat transfer surface I've got. But anyway, one day to the edge of the solar system. We're going very fast. And, ooh. Ooh. Oh, look how perfect I accidentally put that periapsis at. That's pretty slick, actually. Why you know generate electric charge? You got electric charge. You're fine. Whatever. You're fine. You have electric charge. Knock out this contract pretty quickly. Yep. Let's go retrograde. Okay. Oh, little past periapsis. That's fine. Now that we're down here, we got a lower apoapsis. This is going to take, I would guess, a lot of our remaining delta V to circularize down here. And then we'll see if it wants me to do the plane change. We do have the xenon engines after we get this far. Okay. Let's get our apoapsis lined up. Right about there. And then get our plane on orbit. Right about there. This will be 26 days. It's amazing how quick your orbit is when you're so low to the sun. I wonder, is it below Moho that we get the near sun? How close to the sun do I actually need to get the near space science? I don't know. I probably should know. Feels pretty close, man. That sounds pretty pretty nearby it feels like. All right. So we've achieved the required orbit for the contract. Map 18 asteroids around Eve with an inclination greater than 19. Okay. Are we close enough to do new science? Run magnetometer report. Let's find out. Still high over the sun. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and ditch the bottom stage here. We'll do this contract, right? We'll do the mapping contract. Oh, I need to actually start observing. Hold on. Start object tracking. One of 18. 2 of 18. 3 of 18. Okay. So that's going to go. We're not going to fly this mission manually the entire time, but once we're done and we get the other 4 million for completing that contract, I'll come back to that probe and we'll try and get it a little closer. We'll get it real low to the sun and see if it like pops or something. In the meantime, no. If we went back to Eve, we could do this one. This one we can do. Science data from space around Duna. Oh, yeah, we do have those other outstanding contracts. Okay, so there's one to position a satellite. We can do that easily because we've already got the satellite there. And then we can also get science data from space around Duna since the satellite is, again, already in the correct location. So that's a twofer. Makes it real easy. So Duna Prospector, this one right here, will fly him. And it looks like they just want a slight adjustment to its orbit, which is super not a problem. Super not a problem at all. We can absolutely get that. Once it loads. Okay, here we go. This is our little ion-powered guy. We'll transmit the Science Junior. And we'll do the Mystery Goo as well. We've been holding on to these. There's no reason to hold on to it anymore. We can just do them. Let's also... Yeah, let's do that. So that's science data. Great. Let's see. We just need to raise orbit slightly. Is that it? Just a quick raise to the orbit. Not a problem. I mean, I guess maybe a small problem in that it's requires me to fire a xenon thruster. Is this even raising it? Hello? No? What the heck? Yeah? Where's the thrust? I know it's supposed to be low thrust, but it shouldn't be this low of a thrust, should it? It's not consuming any fuel. It's not doing anything. Is my xenon out? No. Why is it not? What the heck? It's got electric charge. It's blue. It's lighting up blue. There's no exhaust, though. There is supposed to be exhaust. 100%. What'd I do? Uh-oh. I crashed it. I switched propellant and it crashed. It's angry. She's angry! Okay. Well, since Kerbal Space Program has decided to crash on me, at least it waited until we were done with the whole Jool capture and everything. That's nice. This is 100% frozen and not doing anything anymore. So we're going to close the program. Yep. I'm going to take a break since it's going to take some time for the game to reboot. In the meantime, you all can enjoy my technical difficulties screen. Okay, and we're back. I'm sure everyone was getting very tired of the elevator music. I think we still have the contracts we did when it crashed. So for some reason, my little spaceship wasn't getting any propulsion, and then when I clicked on the wrong button, the game crashed. So we're gonna try this again. Here's our little. Where's our little spaceship? There it is. Can I select it, please? There it is. Duna Prospector. All right. Should we build a Duna outpost? Probably should build a Duna outpost, huh? I think that would appease the masses, wouldn't it? So this is a cool problem we're having. Where if I throttle up, my ISP, my Delta V, all goes to 0. And that's what causes it. Okay, hold on. We're going to go to the Space Center before the crash propagates any farther. I love this game. I love this game so much. I love it when it breaks. And I can't do this contract. It's my favorite thing. This is a good sign too. Yeah, this is good. That's what we like to see. Let's go to mission control. Let's go to active contracts. We can't do this, so that's a fail. I love failing contracts. It's great. Should we do an outpost? I guess we could hire some new astronauts, huh? We could hire an engineer finally. That'd be good. Let's get a Orcus Kerman. That's a good engineer name. And then so we've got engineer, scientist, pilot, scientist, pilot, scientist, engineer. I think another engineer would do us good. Dean Kerman. That brings us up to total of 20. 10 on mission. 10 at the complex. Let's go back to the tracking station. Maybe we can unglitch the Kerbal Space Center, because that's probably not supposed to look like that. And now we're like fully crashed again. Emotional damage. All right. That's it. We're going to end the stream here. I wasn't planning on going much further than this. And now that Kerbal Space Program is like actively fighting me, I think there's some work that I need to do to get this fixed on my end, probably. So I'm going to call it here. This is frustrating, as always. I do love this game for its challenges. Aside from the technical issues that seem to be unovercomable, we did have a pretty good set of progress, right? We got the ship to Jool. Minor issue with the probes, but, you know, we got it to Jool. And we launched this other mission, which is going to get us another 4 million. That's going to go a long ways to funding our antimatter-powered ship, which once we get that thing up and running, oh, doggy, we are going to be in for a lot of fun. Yeah, this is frustrating, and I can't really do anything about it either. You just kind of deal with it, which is great. Thank you, Intercept Games. Thank you, Private Division. Thank you for doing such a good job not letting this classic game, this cornerstone of the genre, go to waste. You guys are doing great. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series. I think that for the most part people have. We've got a couple new cult fans of the channel. Clocky, Green Juno, Avery, everyone else. Appreciate you guys' support and enjoying the game with me, and we'll see you guys in the next live stream. So take care, everybody.